How's it going, everyone? Doc here with Eyes Wide Shot Gaming, and today we are happy to bring you an amazingly overpowered endgame bow build. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help motivate us to keep making entertaining and informative build videos for all of our amazing viewers. Let's dive right into this bow build by breaking down what kind of bow we are using, as well as what jewels we slot to really open up the tap on our damage. We decided for this build, the best course of action is using the Ardian bow, Angelbane. We focus on the dragon element, and when crafting our bow, we want to use dragon affinity to increase our base crit chance. We got very lucky and rolled our reinforcement bonuses flawlessly with 3 attack boosts and 2 affinity boosts, giving us just the right balance between crit chance and our overall attack damage. Since we focused dragon affinity on our Ardian bow, our coating will only be the power coating, which gives us the best increase to damage out of any other coating for this build. The Ardian bow, as most of you know, comes with 3 spots, each with a 3-slot jewel. We equip 2 critical boost jewels into the first 2 spots, maxing out our critical damage by a massive 40%, which will go hand in hand with our critical chance throughout our build. Along with the critical boost, our last jewel slot is the Pierce jewel, allowing us to also max out our piercing shot, which increases the damage of the bow's Dragon Piercer and Thousand Dragons attack. For our secondary weapon, we equip the White Cannon solely for the fact that it's one of our favorite weapons. This can easily be swapped with a secondary bow that hard focuses either paralysis or sleep to keep our enemies still while we swap back to our primary bow and wail away at them. Let's move on to our armor pieces. For the headpiece, we have the Guardian Fulgur Helm B. This comes standard with 2 points into Agitator, increasing our attack power as well as affinity when large monsters become enraged by 8 damage, and 5% affinity while active. The headpiece does have 1 spot for a slot jewel, which we utilized to equip the Destroyer jewel, which is the first step towards maxing out Heartbreaker. This will make it easier to break large monster parts and increases our damage dealt when destroying a wound with a focus strike. We are using a bow, so it's exceptionally easy to target wounds with focus strikes. The headpiece does come standard with Fulgur Anjanath's Will and Guardian's Protection, neither of which will be used. For our chest piece, we have the Blango Mail B. This comes standard with another 2 points into Agitator, further increasing our attack power and affinity when large monsters roid out during a fight, giving us an attack boost of 16 and affinity buff of plus 10% while active. The chest piece does come once again with 1 spot for a 2-slot jewel, which we have another Destroyer jewel in, again raising our Heartbreaker by another 10% when we focus strike an enemy's wounds. This chest piece has Blangonga's Spirit and Alluring Pelt, yet again neither will be used. Moving on to the arms, we have the Xuwu Vambraces A. This piece of armor equipment skills entail earplugs at level 2, as well as 1 spot for a 2-slot jewel and 1 spot of a 1-slot jewel. For this, we add another earplugs jewel, allowing us to max out earplugs. This will nullify weak and strong monster roars and grant us protection from any other roars that might come from not just monsters, but our wives as well while we game. For the 1-slot jewel, we use the Growth jewel, letting us max out self-improvement, which increases our attack and defense as time passes while we are on a quest, a maximum amount being reached after 30 minutes. Moving on to the waist, we have the Archvulcan Coil B. This armor piece has 2 points into Weakness Exploit, which increases the affinity of attacks that exploit a monster's weak points and wounds, gaining us 10% into affinity with an extra 5% on wounds, as well as recovery speed, which doubles the speed at which we heal recoverable damage. The waist armor comes with 2 1-spot jewel slots. Both will be utilized with the Protection jewel, allowing us to summon Divine Blessing to level 2. Which reduces damage taken by 30% while active. This piece also has a set bonus of Arc Belt's Hunger and Alluring Pelt, neither of which will be used for this specific build. Finally, our last piece of armor, the legs. We equipped the Guardian Rathalos Greaves B. This armor piece comes standard with 1 level into Weakness Exploit, as well as 1 level into Windproof. We can absolutely use the Weakness Exploit, giving us another step up towards raising our affinity when we hit a monster's weak points and wounds, as well as the Windproof skill, granting us protection against wind pressure. The one spot for a 2-slotted jewel we have is used on the final Destroyer jewel, setting us up to maxing out Part Breaker, increasing our part damage and damage dealt when destroying a wound with a focus strike by 30%. For our talisman, we have the Exploiter Charm maxed out, raising and maxing out our Weakness Exploit to level 5, giving us a boost to our attacks that hit weak points by 30% with an extra 20% on wounds. This, in combination with our base affinity, we are going to be critting with every shot we release from our bow. And finally, the Mantle. We have the Corrupted Mantle. This will decrease our health for a little while unless we do a certain amount of damage, but increases our affinity and weapon performance while equipped with repeated attacks on monsters, further increasing our attack power and affinity for 2 whole minutes. Let's take a look over our equipment skills as well as our attack and defense status. Critical boost is maxed out at level 5, as is our piercing shots, weakness exploit, earplug, self-improvement, and part breaker. The agitator skill is at level 4 out of 5, and the divine blessing is at 2 out of 3. Recovery speed is nice, but not necessarily a focus, and the same goes for windproof. Our base attack sits comfy at 246, base affinity is at 30%, and our dragon element is at 230. Defense, on the other hand, is at a healthy 343, and most of our resistances are low, fire being at 1, water at 2, no thunder, ice at -1, and dragon resistance at -8. But we are a bow user, so we should be perfect dodging as often as possible. Hopefully this build will help many players dip their toes into the river of bows or dive even deeper into the sea of archery. And as always, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and until next time, so long.